we should retract, we should collapse. The economy should fall into a recession or depression if it means we refocus on the American dream and American strength. That is, no H-1Bs, no visas, seal the borders, we'll retract, the economy will collapse, the liberal economic order will fail, but America will have a resurgence in 40 years. Because it's going to take a couple generations to get back to that point where you have the large growing...
Only rich people would suggest things like this, by the way. Rich racists, essentially.
Because she was asking him questions, not letting him finish, and
I was like, I knew all the fucking, grown men who act like 12-year-olds were going to be so excited about this.
It's a slow news day, but it's a fun news day, I gotta say. So I hope you're thoroughly entertained as I will now play for you this clip of Donald Trump calling a journalist a piggy. And everybody's tweeting like, did he just call her a piggy? Yeah, apparently it was over the Epstein files, for which Trump has already said should be released. This whole cycle on Epstein has been weird. I can't put a pattern together. And I pride myself on being able to find patterns in things. But hey.
Definitely what I've known Tim Pool after years of covering him for is certainly really skilled at. Yeah, no one does it like the Beanie Man. Boy, oh boy, do I know how to recognize patterns in the world. And it's like, okay, you don't know how to cover this? Trump is the guiltiest motherfucking person that ever lived. Jesus Christ. Unless you are trying to protect him, unless you care about defending MAGA, unless you want to avoid actually talking about the fact that Trump is all over this shit, it's the most obvious thing in the world. Even before we had all this information about his ties to Jeffrey Epstein, or Epstein himself saying they were best friends, or these emails that leaked where survivors of Jeffrey Epstein were like, yeah, that guy is so attracted to teenagers that he runs into like glass doors. And like there are other survivors who are like, I didn't want to show up the house when Trump was there because that guy's insatiable. Or Trump's own lawyer, his daughter giving testimony that Trump was like attracted to her when he was 15 and saying all this creepy shit about how he was going to date her friends. This was while he was married. Trump saying in radio shows out loud before we knew about the Epstein stuff that he's attracted to teenagers. He walks into the dressing rooms of Miss Teen USA pageants to watch them undress, and I can just do that, shit like that. The guy has a long history of being a pedo. And now that there's all this information that came out, it's like, yeah, he's fucking one of the guiltiest pedophiles that ever lived. And yeah, there's no way to recognize the patterns. There's not enough information there.
It is what it is. Let me play the clip for you in question, and I hope it brings a smile to your face.
You're going to find out what did he know with respect to Bill Clinton, with respect to the head of Harvard, with respect to all of those people that he knew, including J.P. Morgan Chase.
Sir,
Yeah,
is
Jennifer,
there
go
something
ahead.
incriminating in the file, sir?
Venezuela,
Why
sir?
not? Why acting as a...
Quiet.
Are you 12? Because to me, like, if a serial rapist pedophile who happens to be in charge of the world's most powerful army is being asked a pretty flat out question after, clearly being upset by this line of questioning multiple times, like he's flipped out about it, where people are like, so what about Epstein? Epstein. Why are all these questions about that creep? I mean, come on, this is a Democrat hoax, all that kind of shit. Yeah, I would like to see him in a prison cell. And it's not just a Trump thing. I'd like to see all the rich and powerful billionaires, multimillionaires, politicians, members of the royal family actually see their time in prison. I know they won't. That's not how the world works. Terrible and awful men usually get away with their crimes because the rich and powerful have all the power and the riches. It's a shocker, I know. But for someone who's a journalist whose life is going to be very difficult, especially if you are a woman in that field, to suddenly just have a dude who is, again, accused of being a serial rapist pedophile turn to them and call them piggy. Oh, epic. Yeah, he called her a pig. Amazing. Trump bodied.
This is our news day today. I know that there's more news, but this is the big one in the trending section.
Of my algorithm. Things Elon Musk's algorithm knows I like. Bam. Wow.
Of X and on Google, and everyone's asking, did Donald Trump call a journalist a piggy? Now, the question I have for you guys is appropriate? Is this appropriate for a president? I say yes. It's not that big a deal. It's funny and we laugh about it. I think it's particularly funny that many people are acting like it's the apocalypse that he called this journalist a piggy.
No, this doesn't shock me in the slightest. He's got a long history. I mean, the guy's a rapist. He doesn't respect women. He rapes them. It's all on brand. It's very on brand. And in fact, I'm surprised he was this nice, to be completely clear. Okay? I think by Trump's standards, this is actually like a courtesy.
A piggy. Apparently it was over the Epstein files, and the actual bigger picture story here has to do with Marjorie Taylor Greene. And it's from Mediaite. MTG slams Trump for calling her a traitor at presser with Epstein victims. I gave him my loyalty for free. The big picture on the Epstein stuff is how it is.
No one's freaking out about this. It's the same thing with like Sydney Sweeney. There are times when Sydney Sweeney does make it in the news. You know, the whole superior genes stuff, or the being unwilling to, condemn white supremacy stuff. That, yeah, she'll make headlines. But you'll see so many right-wingers post stories about Sydney Sweeney where it's like, the left are losing their mind because Sydney Sweeney looks gorgeous in this dress. Look how fabulous she looks, but they can't handle it. I was like, I did not see a single liberal or left-wing account complain about how this very tight green dress makes Sydney Sweeney's boobs look enormous in this one shot. Not one. I didn't see a single one of them post about this. Well, the left are losing their minds over Sydney Sweeney's new ice cream ad because she eats ice cream in a bathtub and they can't stand it because it's destroying wokeness. No, I didn't see a single think piece, not even a Vogue article, nothing in Jezebel. No one said anything. Because, again, people don't care about people finding Sydney Sweeney hot. No one on the left or the liberal side is complaining about that. They talked about the jeans ad because it's a white person and making a joke about having superior genes. That's why it was newsworthy. They talked about the interview she had because in that interview she was given a very easy off-ramp to simply be like, that's not what I meant by the ad. And instead she decided to be like, I'm going to keep those far-right Nazis at bay by simply saying, hey, when there's something I want to talk about, I'll talk about it. That's why people talked about it. Otherwise, no one cares. Oh, also, we did talk about the fact that her movie flopped because not a single right-winger actually cares about art or stories about powerful women or stories about LGBTQ plus people. So as long as she's making movies involving those kind of topics, she's really playing a wild game, I gotta say, you know, a dangerous one at that, where it's just like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna flirt with the whole Nazism stuff, you know, just I'm not overtly gonna say anything like I'm into that, but I am certainly not going to also condemn it, which I'm sure would be really easy to do, and you don't even have to do it while alienating those kind of people. Right? There are safer ways to have done it, but I'm instead just going to be like, hey, yeah, I don't want to talk about that. So yeah, good luck. Good luck having 3 bombs in 1 year and then seeing where your career is going to go from here on out.
Fractured and strange. Donald Trump has come out and he has said, let's release these files. He's telling people we're going to go after these weird connections. We're going to figure out what's going on here.
No, he was trying to prevent it, and then when they were going to vote on it, he actually tried to get other people to flip. He brought in Lauren Boebert, trying to say, hey, Lauren, she of the Beetlejuice handjob, any chance you might not be able to vote on this? And she was like, nah, and so he was like, okay. So then after that, he decided, okay, you know what, I will do a whole 180, because now we should release the Epstein files, because he's still going to be able to protect himself. Even if the Epstein files, again, they just got voted on in the House, they're going to be released. Now the Senate will vote on them, and if the Senate votes yes, then they'll go back to the House will vote on them, yes, then it goes to Donald Trump's desk. The word unclassified is in the language of that, so he can actually, in the interest of national security, aka his own ass, he can still redact anything he wants. So what they're going to do is the Epstein files will eventually get released, and he's going to give out information that will make Bill Clinton and Larry Summers and aides to Obama look really bad. And on that end, that part's good. I would like to see all the people who have committed vile acts of human trafficking, abusing or raping children. I would like to see them all get destroyed. So that part of it will be good. But the bad part is he'll protect himself because he is also all over these things. I think the wild card no one will see coming is what the Epstein estate also still has that they are choosing to release, because they are just releasing things like a little drip feed, right? Like it's like, hey, by the way, Donald Trump wrote a love letter to Jeffrey Epstein where it seems like he's also a pedophile, and he's talking about how much they also both love, minors. That's real. And then they released that without releasing the 20,000 emails, right? And so a little bit later, they're like, all right, now here's the 20,000 emails that definitely look really bad for Donald Trump. He actually appears in them second only to Jeffrey Epstein in terms of the amount of times his name is mentioned. So that's really bad too. They have more. The Epstein estate has a lot more, so we'll see what comes out of that, even though Donald Trump will most likely redact any involvement he has.
Why then is he going after Marjorie Taylor Greene? Why the infighting? What I can say is, you know what, man? The infighting on the right is reaching new levels. I really do feel that Charlie Kirk was holding things together. And without him, we are much, much worse off. I have fears.
I see. I'm not an American pundit, nor am I on the right, so I have no idea if that was a feeling they all had. I don't know if that was in their hearts. They're like, boy, I really want to take down the quartering today. But it'll make Charlie sad. Yeah, he wouldn't like that. I really want to fucking go after Steven Crowder. That motherfucker, he said shit about me. Yeah, but you know what? What? Charlie wouldn't like that. That's true. Charlie wouldn't like that. Yeah. So without Charlie, now they're untethered and they're all just going after each other. It's Candace Owens versus Erica Kirk versus Turning Point USA. That battle, every day that goes by, I'm just like, who's going to fire the shot first? Metaphorically, of course, but like, it seems like both of them are kind of dancing around the idea of directly implicating the other one. Like Candace Owens is constantly going after Turning Point USA. She's trying to take down the entire organization, but she never tries to go after Erica Kirk, because if you do that, there's no coming back from it, right? She's a grieving widow. I mean, it could look really bad on you. Are you honestly going to say that she had any kind of involvement in this weird conspiracy that you're kind of trying to always drum up? But then the other day, she was like, my investigation has revealed that apparently all the Egyptian planes that were following Charlie Kirk were actually following Erica Kirk. What did she know? I'm just asking questions. I'm not actually implicating her or going after her. I'm just asking questions, right? And in the other direction, well, Candace Owens is incredibly powerful in terms of, her rising to the top of the pundit class. So for Erica Kirk to be like, I think it's very disrespectful, some of the things that Candace Owens has been saying about Turning Point USA or saying about my husband, that's shots fired in the other direction. There's no going back from that. The next day, Candace Owens will put out a fucking hit piece of hit pieces. Like, she does not like being attacked by anybody. So I'm just sitting there being like, who's going to do it first? Who's going to be the first one?
This big tent movement is not going to survive much longer. I know it's a little black-pilled, but this is just one component of it. Behind the scenes.
Awesome. Yeah. That's good. It's good news,
I've been having conversations with many prominent individuals, and I despise the secrecy and the politicking that is going on. I despise it. And I think it's about to go tits up, which maybe
It's about to go tits up. I see. Something like this, I guess.
And you keep saying, but my kids need food. And now inflation is here, and there's food shortages, and your kids aren't eating, and the schools are indoctrinating your kids.
I will discuss in greater detail a little bit later. But let me just say, behind the scenes, there are a lot of conversations about the rift. There's conversations about Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens. Of course, I've brought up these issues, and I've mentioned that it's demoralizing that this is what people are focused on, this drama.
Oh, because it's funny.
But there's more to the picture, and it's a big picture, and let's just say the islands are breaking apart. They were held together by great bridges, but the bridges have been collapsing, and it's about to collapse.
So, I mean, the only thing he's right about is, yes, there is a complete and utter blood feud going on between a lot of different factions of the right now, and I love it, and it's been glorious to watch, and it's, obviously very beneficial to the left, because if they all splinter apart, if we have Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens versus Ted Cruz versus Lindsey Graham versus Ben Shapiro, and they're all fighting each other, those are a couple minutes that they're not fighting after vulnerable minorities. You'll notice there's less content coming out by a lot of those content producers right now that is just every single day trans people, trans ideology, trans and gender ideology. They are coming to destroy us all. They are groomers and pedophiles. They've actually started doing videos about each other. And the Circular Firing Squad, it's a beautiful thing to see. So I think on all levels, we should be doing everything that we can to encourage it and to make sure that the splinters continue. I don't even know if it really needs anyone's push at this point. It seems like, you know, a lot of them, they can't help themselves. Every other day, Matt Walsh does this whole kind of like, can't we all just get along? We need to stop fighting. We are so close to victory. And if we continue to fracture, we'll be, oh my God, I can't believe this person said this about me, fucking quote tweet. Like, I am America first, buddy. You don't know what you're talking about. I am not controlled by the Israeli agenda, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, I'm back. Can we please get along? We need to stop fighting. And holy fuck, this person just said this about me. I do not take orders from Ben Shapiro. You are completely wrong. I am America first. I love the Christian cross. I will do anything for Jesus. He's inside me every day, 4 times a day. It's great. Keep going. All of you. Fight. Fight, fight, fight.
A little bit more. But in that vein, this is where we land with Trump versus Marjorie Taylor Greene. You know, Trump, of course, has always been critical of Thomas Massie, though Massie did endorse him. I don't understand why this has to be the focus, but sometimes, I suppose, you are given no choice. Trump has decided he's going to call up Marjorie Taylor Greene. He wants someone else to win these strong red seats who are going to be more supportive of his agenda. With the midterm coming up in about 1 year, I get it. And I certainly understand as it pertains to Tucker, he's going to speak to his passions, and they're going to try and excise him and say, you can't come. And Candace will speak to her passions. And for that, they will oust her and say she's not welcome in certain spheres. And that means the islands are breaking apart.
Beautiful.
I think it's, let me put it like this. I know you guys comment because I know many of you are going to say something similar. We can't risk fracturing at this moment. And I agree. But and so I'm interested in what you guys have to say. Principle or politics? It's an honest question. Right now, conversations behind the scenes are...
I like that he's given up any pretense of being a far righter, by the way. He's like, all of my other far right friends, we are all in alliance. We must stop fighting each other. Oh, sorry. Milquetoast lib. Yes. No, I'd vote for Obama a third time if I could.
We should be fighting privately, and publicly we should be showing unity and strength. But that
did the exact opposite, by the way. Like a lot of the right, especially the right-wing pundits, privately, it really seems like they could give 2 fucks about any politics or stuff. This is all just like media and a game to them. They're fine, like turning on a camera, saying a bunch of shit. They have no idea if that's going to result in, like, you know, someone actually trying to beat up a trans kid or something. But afterwards, the lights are off. It's like, hey, do you want to hang out, or do you think we could be friends, or do you think we could actually, be friendly to each other? By the way, that's not Tim Pool towards me. That was Tim Pool towards Emma Vigeland, though. You know, wanting to go grab sushi and have poker with the boys.
That would mean obfuscating the current goings-on in the political space.
Did I see Pool's appearance on Jesse Waters? I did not. What did they talk about?
Should we tell you, the audience, the absolute truth about what's happening if the truth is bad for the movement, as those are behind the scenes are trying to keep the glue together? It is coming unglued.
Which also, by the way, what Candace Owens has revealed about the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, a lot of them hate each other. Like, you know, I didn't think that Ben Shapiro and Charlie Kirk had any kind of a rift until I started seeing the leaked DMs from Candace Owens, where Ben Shapiro apparently was calling Candace Owens Charlie Kirk's slave, and was just like, Charlie Kirk was telling Candace that, like, he fears you and he fears how powerful you're becoming, and he knows. And, like, I mean, he wasn't wrong in terms of she was becoming powerful. She's completely overtaken the Daily Wire. She is now, like, you know, a titan of that industry. And a lot of what Ben Shapiro has done. Ben Shapiro, it feels like with the Daily Wire, has kind of done the same thing that TYT did, where it just basically made all these monsters who eventually, like, rose and became more powerful than them, you know, like the Dave Rubins, the Jimmy Dores, etc.
Or should we engage in the politics? Should we just say everything's fine, nothing to see here, we're great? Or should we be honest and say, guys, I think there's bad things happening? My attitude has always been transparency. My attitude has always been, I'm not here for political factions or ideologies. I'm not here for organizations or politicians.
You can't say that after saying we need to work together and we need to stay united. By the way, I don't care about the factions and the politics of it all. You know?
I'm here for what is true because reality has a right-wing bias. But if elements of the right are breaking apart ideologically to such extreme degrees that Trump is going after Marjorie Taylor Greene, and the Epstein files has created this rift, and Israel and Charlie Kirk's assassination, I don't know that pretending it's not happening helps us. I think that putting it in the forefront can get us through it more quickly, and we need to, if that is going to be the best path towards uniting for a midterm victory. We'll see. Now, the story here about the Epstein files is that Donald Trump was questioned on Epstein and said, quiet, piggy. Trump snatch.
No, that's the story that you care about. That's the part that's interesting to you. You don't care about any of the actual information or leaks.
We had 300 million hits. You know that. Look, I can't tell him.
Should he be?
Will you let me finish my statement? You are the worst.
Yeah, see, like, that's the only shit that he likes. And then Trump called a reporter piggy. Isn't that amazing? Here's another clip of Trump calling another reporter a name. It's so funny. He's so based and epic.
But I think Trump's right on the tariffs. I think he's done a decent job considering how bad things have been since COVID. So I'm overall pretty dang happy. Now, Trump is right when he says we need H-1Bs and Chinese visas, but he needs to make sure that the number one priority will always be Americans and Gen Z. America first doesn't mean America only. There are certain...
Yeah, Tim, this won't save you. They're coming after everybody eventually. The Nazis have been unleashed, all right? I'm sorry. You can't do the milquetoast fence sitting with Nazis. They're not going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, no. We would like some exceptions to be made, in certain conditions and situations. I mean, if they're skilled coders, we can look past the fact that they don't have to be of the racially pure skin.
People who believe we should be America only. However, the point Trump is making on H1B...
By the way, that is exactly what they say, if you look at the American First Movement. And because Matt Walsh is so terrified of the Groypers in the American First Movement, who've been coming after him a lot right now because he works with Ben Shapiro and they're anti-Semitic, etc., Matt Walsh has started putting out videos where he says he only cares about Americans, and he's gone even higher than that and has started making videos where he says he only cares about his family. Like it's just like, I care about America first. That means I do not want anything beyond America. I don't want us to do partnerships with other countries. I don't want us to give money to other countries. I only care about Americans. But I'll take that one step further. I care about my family first, above all things. If you're asking me about whether I'll let 1,000 people die versus one of my family members, I'm going to sacrifice those people, kind of thing. And I was like, this whole pageantry is not going to stop the Groypers from coming after you. It's not. They are not the appeasement type, all right? You cannot fight neo-Nazis, incels, really, really angry, racial supremacists online by being like, I care about America and American. You can't be like a fucking 1980s Bud Light ad. I'm a real American. I like my beer cold. That shit won't work. It won't work.
B's is, right now you got the Ford CEO saying we can't find mechanics. We do need
That's
to
right,
bring in
signaling.
some
Absolutely.
talented labor. The H-1B thing I think is a scam. Trump needs to clarify this and make sure he's telling people we're not going to let exploitation happen. The only people we're going to bring in are going to be specialists because we want to maintain the current strength of the economy so that there will be homes, there will be corporate equity, securities, and a chance for Gen Z to inherit something from America. Some have made the argument we should retract, we should collapse. The economy should fall into a recession or depression if it means we refocus on the American dream and American strength. That is, no H-1Bs, no visas, seal the borders, we'll retract, the economy will collapse, the liberal economic order will fail, but America will have a resurgence in 40 years. Because it's going to take a couple generations to get back to that point where you have the large growing...
Only rich people would suggest things like this, by the way. Rich racists, essentially. That's the only... Because he'll be fine, by the way. If there's a complete global economic collapse, if everything in totality just crashes, he'll be completely fine. He's already got an entire fucking, bunker with weapons. Worst comes to worst, he can try and shoot trespassers who try and steal his chickens and resources. He'll be fine. Totally fine. People like Elon Musk and Peter Thiel, who also recommend these kind of like, directions where it's like, I think maybe we need to completely seal off the borders, have a complete financial collapse. And then it's through that we'll create strong men, because people will suffer. They'll have to work really hard. And then through that working really hard, we can, build from the ashes. It's absolute insanity. Done by, again, billionaires, multimillionaires, people who can actually weather those storms comfortably. They themselves do not want to have to literally toil in the fields. They don't want to have to worry about where the next meal comes from. They don't want to have to worry about whether or not their neighbors are going to kick in their doors to try and steal resources. They don't care about any of that, because again, they're going to be fine. They have well enough resources. They could just move to an island for like 40 years and be like, oh, is America back? Cool, I'm getting back there now.
Population base. If that's your view, you're allowed to have it, I'm much...
Our genes are so mixed up now, we're literally all mutts. That's the other thing too, is that like, that's why, as scary as a lot of the white supremacists and the Nazi movements have become and how brazen they are, that's something everyone needs to keep in mind, is that like, not only does the average person, even if you happen to be 100%, white, European, all that, the average person is not a disgusting ass, I care about the racial supremacy shit. They want to put food on the table. And now, like a lot of these countries, Canada included, they become so multicultural that there isn't a situation anymore in which you can actually definitively have a strong enough movement of people who like, we want racial purity. It's like, well, your kids don't. Your kids are friends with people of lots of different ethnicities, of lots of different skin colors, whose families speak a lot of different languages. They're growing up in that. It's also the same thing with like, the whole anti-LGBTQ plus movement. But when you look at the Gen Z demographics, they are the most pro LGBTQ plus, because a lot of their friends happen to be non-binary, happen to be trans, happen to be gay, happen to be bi, happen to be pan. It's one of those things where you're not going to suddenly be able to transform every single Gen Zer into a monster simply by saying it out loud, or simply by telling everybody, those people are evil, we have to stop them, or non-white people are evil, we have to stop them. It's like a lot of those kids have a lot of non-white friends. A lot of those kids are non-white. A lot of those kids, even if they are white-skinned, happen to be of different ethnic backgrounds. It's one of those things where that aspect of it, unfortunately, the whole white genocide thing, it is coming true, not by virtue of that there's an actual political thing to get rid of white people, but just by demographic change. It's what's happening. This is a different phenomenon. There are more people coming in from other countries. More people are having sex with each other, and then oh no, there's miscegenation. The races are mixing, all this kind of stuff. But like, yeah, their project failed.
More of a pragmatist. I'm much more moderate. I don't like the H-1B exploitation. I don't like the infighting. I say we're gonna. I mean, look. I'm a disaffected liberal guy, right? Despite our disagreements, can we?
He spent this entire thing talking about how the far right needs to band together in order to keep winning politically. By the way, I am a lib, just so we're clear. Milquetoast liberal. Yeah, that has not run out its course of usefulness yet for me to say that every couple sentences and to make you all believe it. So all of you sit at home being like, yeah. Tim Pool validates our beliefs. I like it because, he basically proves to me that the libs are all NPCs who have groupthink, except for him. He broke free, but then he can tell us all about the groupthink so we can all believe the same thing in tandem and not be NPCs. Thanks, Tim. Thank you once again. I like how everyone is praising Trump for moving the tariffs, even though he's the reason for the tariffs. Yeah, I mean, it's the whole sleight of hand, or the idea that, like, every now and then Trump will be like, I'm making things infinitely more affordable. Not if I look at the numbers. I mean, everything looks like it's going out of control in the United States. I mean, things are becoming very expensive here in Canada, but then I'll look at the same comparable items in the US and I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's how much you're paying for a pound of meat or a fucking pack of bananas, or dare I say eggs, a carton of eggs. Whatever happened to egg cheap? Need to have egg cheap, Again, while all these guys are doing the bidding of billionaires, that should be the through line to all of this, is that, like, if you want to keep building a big tent, you don't need to listen to the fucking Pete Buttigieg's of the world that want you to appeal to some of their worst sensibilities. Like, yeah, Ezra Klein, maybe Democrats, because they have to win above all else. It doesn't actually matter what they run on, but they have to win. Maybe it's important if you actually just throw women's rights under the bus. Hey, yeah, maybe you should start listening to them when they go after trans people and the most vulnerable members of society who are already having a really hard time, but you need to do it to win the numbers. It's like, you want to win the numbers? It's pretty simple. The majority of people, the majority of the voting public in both America, Canada, and a lot of the other Western democracies are not the multimillionaire class, are not the people who are basically living super large, have mansions and yachts and multiple homes and all that kind of stuff. They are the people who are struggling to get by, or even if they're doing all right, are realizing life is getting harder and harder, and the so-called American dream is getting more and more difficult to attain, right? Like, it's like, even if you are making good money because you went to school for a long time because your parents could afford to do that for you, are you now able to pay off your student loans? Are you able to afford a house? Do you have $250,000 for a down payment because of the average home prices in some major cities? Most people, even if they are in that top 10%, are kind of being like, no, that's getting harder. Right. There are more renters than there are people who have apartment buildings to rent out. That's one vote versus maybe 20 votes. As long as you keep waking people up to that, they'll realize that all of these people are working on the behalf of the billionaire class. Everything they say is selling stuff that is just trying to push and benefit the billionaire class. Donald Trump benefits the billionaires. So do centrist Democrats. They benefit the billionaires. So do the liberals in Canada. They benefit the billionaires. All of them. And if the conservatives came into power in Canada, they benefit the billionaires just the same. Every single one of them is just doing the fucking... They're working overtime to benefit the corporate class and to benefit the billionaire class. And at the same time, they're distracting everyone else by saying, well, this is actually about culture wars. Get distracted. Look, trans people. Yeah, abortions. Yeah, abortions. Scary, right? Yeah, you're all scared, aren't you? All of you are worried? Good. And the more people wake up to that and see that for what it is, the less these people have power. And the more they can be like, yeah, like, I don't really want to waste all my time online trying to prevent women from having health care because you've told me that there's a genocide of fetuses going on. Well, like, how does that concern me? I could spend all day being angry about ghost babies, or I could actually try and work towards something that's going to get people more equality and get everyone that.
Stop, thank you so much to our patrons for making this show possible. We could not fund it without you. And if you want to join, please check out patreon.com/theserfs to unlock bonus episodes, uncensored content, and all the good stuff. Thanks to Anna Loves Riley, Addercap, Bobby Lasers, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hegbard Salim, Multimondi, Omni, Political Papi, Preston Kroll, Quiet One 85, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demmel, Tigwick, and Words Greenwood.